Hey guys, this is the Green Clan. We have another discussion video, and we're just going to be talking about the pros and cons of the big three, which are Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. So we're just going to compare them and talk about what we like about from these series. So, Zoro, you can start us off on what you like about one of these three.
Sure. I'll start off with things that I do like, and that is One Piece. And One Piece, in my opinion, is the best ongoing shonen as of right now, and it is excellent. Character development in general, uh, character depth, the backstories, everything about the characters just make me love One Piece. Uh, then the world of One Piece is excellent. There's so many different places to go, unique different places, and the characters that populate this world are really well done, and I feel it's the most consistent series out of the big three, especially because there's barely any plot holes. Everything is written very well and a lot of detail. Oda really cares about his work, so he really goes in depth with the characters and gives them a lot of detail to the series. Now, what I think really makes the series different than the other series is it's not as much action packed as Bleach or Naruto, so people might not like it, but I feel like it has a lot of action and things build up perfectly to that eventual climax. I guess the negatives of the show would be that it is somewhat long. It's hard to get into, I guess, from that standpoint, but I recommend doing it anyway. Um, and that, like I said, it's slow, and the beginning arcs, some of them aren't very entertaining, as they're just trying to get crew members to start this voyage. Now, the adventure aspect of it is excellent. It's all about just following your dreams, hanging out with friends, and just really all striving towards a single goal. Like I said, the characters are excellent, the world is excellent, the story is excellent, and I absolutely love everything about it. So I recommend watching it. One Piece is awesome. Now I'm going to talk about Naruto, and I review Naruto also as well as One Piece. And I really like Naruto. It has a lot of cons also as pros, but I really think that it does this. It's a little bit more serious of a tone than One Piece is. It really deals into some more darker things in One Piece. I like Naruto as a character for the most part. He has a horrible, sad backstory. He's been ignored as a kid, but he overcomes that, and eventually he became what he is today. So there's a lot to like about Naruto. Sasuke, I really liked him at one point. He was one of my favorite characters at one point. Not so much anymore, but I really like Sasuke, and just the whole ninja world. It's a good world. It's populated well. I wish the characters would be progressed more with Naruto, like it is in One Piece. Like it seems sometimes that Kishimoto forgets about a lot of characters, and that's a big negative about Naruto, in my opinion. Um, the first series, Naruto, the original series, is excellent. I love it. Shippuden is okay. It's pretty good. It has a lot of plot holes, unfortunately. But overall, I think Naruto is a must-watch, and that you should watch Naruto overall. Excellent series. Some good, decent villains. So check out Naruto and Bleach. Out of the big three, I think this is the least best out of the big three, honestly. Um, Kubo as a writer is not very good. Although at the same time, you have to say, you know what? You take it for what it is. It's an action show. It only advertises itself as an action show. It may have a lot of plot holes in a story, and for a story, any story, that's a problem. But it really is just kind of like a popcorn type series where you just enjoy the action. And there's a lot of good characters out there. I don't think that necessarily Ichigo is one of those good characters, in my opinion. But overall, I think that first arc is excellent. The Soul Society arc is excellent, but things go downhill from there. Overall, though, I think Bleach is an okay series, not a great series, not a bad series, and it is worth checking out to see if you like it or not. Like I said, little story, not a good progression of story, plot holes, power up kind of like fluxes, but overall, it's a decent series. Um, but out of the big three, it's definitely the least good, and that's my synopsis of the big three in my opinion.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with most of the points. So it doesn't sound too repetitive. My main gripes with Bleach is, of course, the story's not the deepest, and it is just for entertainment. But I think it just has way too many characters, and some of them just don't get as much shine as others. Um, and for One Piece, I think it's an excellent story. Each Straw Hat gets time to shine. They each get development, equal development. So it doesn't seem like Luffy is like more totally overpowered of every other Straw Hat. They each get their own development. In Naruto, of course, I love the series. Obviously, it has gone downhill in my opinion from part two. Part one, it just had everything in my opinion. But I think it's still a great series, just entertainment value, pretty much. I think One Piece is better written. I enjoy Naruto more, unfortunately. And I think Bleach has probably the best character design, but that's just my personal thoughts. So anybody else got their thoughts on the pros and cons of the big three?
I'll jump on in here, man. The biggest con with Naruto is the fillers, in my opinion. Believe it, just tons of fillers. But the fight scenes are really good. It's an enjoyable series. I like the original Naruto more than Shippuden. But overall, I enjoy it. For One Piece, I'm just a One Piece fanboy. Trying to find a knot for it is really hard for me. So I'm not even going to try. And, Bleach is by far my least favorite of the three. But the fight scenes are great in it. Like, you take Ichigo versus Renji, and I absolutely love that. So once I see that, I can't say it's a bad series. But you can't look for things that it's not. If you want a great, in-depth story and no plot holes, don't watch Bleach. But if you want to watch awesome fight scenes, check it out. So that's really where I stand with the big three.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'll jump in this.
All right.
All right. I'll describe the pros and cons for each one. So let's talk about One Piece. One Piece overall, to me, has the better writing, the action pace, and each character gets its own time in the spotlight. Whereas other shonen series, such as Dragon Ball Z, for example, you only see half the characters get showtime. But One Piece, each character is, unique, and they get a spotlight. They get time to shine, and I really like that about One Piece. The only con in One Piece is just minor. I feel that the time skip was kind of too late because the show has been running on for like a good 12 years now, and why chose doing the time skip, I think it was like 2011, 2010, I'm not sure, but I just didn't really thought about the time skip. Oh, okay. Let's move on to Naruto. Alright, Naruto also has colorful characters. I liked how this shonen character, Naruto, has struggled being in the dumpster and, going through the top as being a respectable ninja. And that's what I like about that. I like about his personality. I like some of the characters, some of the moves, and, we haven't seen many ninja or shinobi anime a lot. So this is, this is really good. Now here's where Naruto has his cons. I hate the fact that the main character is chasing one of the characters, and it's been like a good 5 years. Naruto chasing after Sasuke, and as the audience, why should we give a fuck? I mean, Sasuke's not gonna come back, and if he does, Kishimoto, you can't just bullshit people. And another thing about the con is sometimes this is just me, it's fans. There are hardcore Naruto fans, and, if you say something wrong about Naruto, they'll just blow things out of proportion. Alright, so let's get with Bleach. As I agree with Adam, the character design are really good in Bleach. I thought Bleach was going to be like a ripoff of Yu Yu Hakusho, but it does something really different. You have the Shinigamis and the different power-ups, the Zanbakutos, and that's very unique in this case. So, the cons in Bleach. Well, the writing is obviously not so great, and the only memorable thing about Bleach, where some people remember, is the arc where Rukia was getting saved. And 9 out of 10, some Kubo, he throw away his characters, such as the what's that arc, the Hinso Modu arc? Yeah, like, we don't know what happened to half of those Esperanto characters. It's just me. I just kind of just gave up and just said fuck it. And also one more thing, the fight between the Esperanto and the Shinigamis, that was too fucking long. Right. Not the fight, but the production. It just took forever.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Okay, now it's my turn. I'm Sasuke Draconathi, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the pros and cons of Bleach and Naruto. And I'm sorry, but I cannot talk about One Piece since I'm not knowledgeable enough about it, so I don't want to give a false opinion. So I'll go ahead and start off with my personal favorite of the three, and that is Bleach. Now, for me, Bleach was a very good show. It's one of those shows that gets you into anime, introduces you to new ideas, new ideals, has a vast variety of characters, but that is also one of the weak points of this show is, unlike One Piece, which I do know some stuff about One Piece, One Piece is able to show off a lot of its characters very well. However, in Bleach, because of the way Kubo wrote it, you got so many characters introduced so quickly that you cannot give every character the spotlight that they deserve. That is a con. Another con is definitely the writing that Kubo does. Honestly, each of these arcs have been fairly simple. I know some people may disagree with that, but we had the first arc, which was Ichigo, very good. Second arc, Soul Society arc. While it was awesome, Ruki got kidnapped, yada yada. Then we had the Bound arc, but that doesn't count. The Iranka arc, but then it started to repeat itself in a way, because then Orihime got kidnapped. Although I know you can say this about Oda and the way he's writing One Piece, but I just see this as Bleach is taking a lot of its past moments and reusing them again.
Yeah.
So that is a negative, another negative. And I'll just give one more because I don't want to go on and on and on, because I'll be here forever if I was to do that. Good. And the third negative I really have of this series, it would definitely have to be what Kubo didn't do. Because with the beginning of the series, we had so many ideas put on the plate. Because if you remember in the early days of Bleach, when Ichigo killed a Hollow, the gates of hell popped up.
Right.
And but he could have done so much more with the entire hell thing. I mean, I know we got that movie, the hell chapter, but that's what could have been done, because we could have had an entire final, a big arc where all the villains, ended up getting together in hell.
Right.
I mean, there's so much Kubo could have done, but he's, no offense to Kubo, but I agree with a lot of people, he's a lot better as an artist than he is a writer.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of the ideas he put, but it's like me with my writing, I can't put them all down and make them work.
Yeah.
As I said, I could go on for a long time talking about the negatives, but a few pros I do have for the series is definitely... Seriously, reviewer? He just put in, now watch this video with me insulting him. If he actually watched this video, I'd be honored. Of course, then
even though you're insulting him?
Of course, then I'd have to dolt slap him. For ruining my series that I love. Although a few pros for Bleach, I have to say this. The character designs and stuff like that are absolutely amazing. It has some of the best I've ever seen. Everything from Grimjow to Ukiura to Ichigo's, Bankai and everything like that. It's all very, very well done. One other positive I do have is the creativity behind everything he did. With the Soul Reapers, and the Hollows being the evil spirits, you have you have the backstory with the Quincy's, humans. You put all of this together, and it was very well, it was very cool how he was able to get all of this together. Although I have to say, although it did not go like how I wanted to see it go,
right.
You have to give him props for it to have lasted as long as it has.
Oh, definitely.
And just give me a sec.
What about Naruto?
Okay. As for Naruto, before I get to that, you gotta love root beer.
What?
You gotta love root beer. But for Naruto,
A buck beer game?
I'll start with the cons of it. I'm pretty sure one of you already mentioned it, but the writing since the original Naruto ended has been pretty darn sloppy. I mean, you can disagree or agree with me on that, but you can notice that it has been getting sloppy since the original Naruto.
Definitely.
So,
I mean, a lot of the fights have, lessened in their quality. One thing that I really miss is seeing the people do the hand signs, because you don't really get to see that anymore.
yeah.
I miss that. And also, the fact that I really don't want to bring this up, but Kishimoto trolled us in the last recent chapters.
Definitely.
I will admit it, he trolled us.
Yeah.
This war
Yeah.
could have been one of the greatest writings in manga history. Having Kakashi go up against his father, Tsunade against her past lover, Naruto against his father, and so on.
Right.
But
You're so right, dude.
Instead, we get this. He trolls us. I mean,
You're right, dude. So right. They introduced all these characters and completely forgot about half of them when they introduced them. Like, makes no sense. Why introduce Maru and all these different, characters of old, and if you're not going to show them fighting, it's like, Dan. Why did they introduce Dan at all?
I know. What's the point?
What's the point of bringing Dan back if you're just going to not have him do anything? And if
in my
Madara
opinion,
ends up getting
that's
released
probably one of the biggest downfalls of Naruto is the writing has been sloppy in recent years.
Hanging out with Kubo too much.
Now even you're trolling, Kubo.
It's so
And there's two other cons that I'll mention because I probably don't have much time left. Another con would be that, just like Bleach, there's not enough. The other characters do not get to shine because we still don't know anything about Tenten hardly. We haven't had anything with Shino that I know of, really, other than that fight with Kankuro in the first Naruto.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a little stuff for Hinata, but we all know how that went.
Yeah.
And the villains have also gotten worse as well, because I don't see Kishimoto giving Toby really any true story or reason for doing all this. I mean, I know that's in the future, but I just have to mention it. I see him trolling us with that as well.
Oh, I hope not.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said with your top 5 villains thing, the reason why I like Sensui so much was because he became corrupted.
Right.
And because he saw how humans could be worse than demons, and it twisted his mind.
Exactly.
That's his reason for being evil.
Right.
I don't see Kishimoto actually giving a reason for Toby to
I
be
feel like
evil.
a lot of the Naruto villains have too many. All of them have reasons for being evil. And they don't just make enough evil characters just for the sake of being evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the Naruto villains have reasons for being evil, and it's kind of like the same thing over and over again. There are very few villains in Naruto that are just evil for evil's sake.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, because Pain. He was a first. The whole thing with Pain, and then Sabuza, and I guess Orochimaru was the only one who was just a bad villain, like a bad person overall. You know what I mean? But even him, he was good at one point, and he's turned bad. So every villain is like they just keep bringing back this theme, like everyone's good at deep down, but they get turned bad, which I guess is all right. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, I just see him trolling us in some way with Toby.
He's been doing.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually didn't even tell us who he was.
No, he wouldn't do that.
No, that would suck.
He's gonna do that at least. I mean, he's messed up lately, but he's gonna show who Toby is. I have no clue who it could possibly be, but I think that he's got to show.
He has to show him.
He would have a role.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know exactly what you mean.
So was that my second con or my first? Because I went on a bit of a rant there.
I think it was your second.
Okay.
Is that it?
One more con. Sharingan and Senju Clan, screw them.
Yeah, man. He does have a love for Sasuke. I mean, for the Uchiha. That's unparalleled. It's very
Okay,
true.
just give me a sec. Just gotta eat some chips.
No problem. You have more?
Okay, pros for Naruto. I can definitely say, in the earliest stages of Naruto, some of the fights were very well done.
Yeah.
You know, the fight between Haku and Naruto and Sasuke. It was very well done with the way they did it, although I still don't like the entire Haku looking like a woman thing, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, that's what got me, introduced me to that type of stuff.
What is with the Japanese and that kind of stuff, man? It's weird.
Japan, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I make that joke a lot, but...
Yeah, that's true.
The fights were very well done in the original Naruto.
Definitely.
Although, as I said, they were getting sloppy in Naruto Shippuden.
Yeah.
That's mainly because he made them more plot-driven than in the first one.
Right.
And made them more plot device, as with, you can tell with Sakura and old grandma, whatever her name was, against Soft Sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really should have lost that fight, but...
Yeah, they should have. It was a good fight anyway, but you're right.
It was a good fight. That's one of the few fights I actually enjoyed in Shippuden.
That was Sakura's literally only chance that she ever shown, like, this, shine. That was literally her only spotlight where, she actually did something, like, really, like, worthwhile, in my opinion. Because people say, oh, she healed people during the Pain Invasion arc. I mean, Pain just revived everybody, so her healing did nothing. Except, I guess, to Hinata, but Hinata, even if she died, she would have been revived by Pain anyway. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to get into Sakura rant, because everyone and their mothers have done that. You know what I mean? But,
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I think, I'm sorry, I cut you off again, didn't I? Go ahead, man.
But the fights, while they have degrees in quality, they still are played out really well.
Yeah.
This is probably, I only have two more positives, and I'll hurry up, reviewer. Okay, one of the only other positives I have for this show is that the main characters are very well written. But, that's also, but then we have the side characters, and I already talked about that. Kishimoto just needs to show love to the side characters.
Absolutely right about that.
And the only other positive I have for Naruto, and I'll just say that, these are the only three positives I have for Naruto.
You're gonna get us trolls, man.
Come at me, bro. I'm Saucy on SC. Look me up on YouTube. I welcome you.
Oh, man.
And the only other positive I have was the world that Kishimoto built.
Right.
The only problem I have with that is it would also be a negative that we haven't got to see a lot of the world since it's mostly been the Land of Fire.
Right, yeah. I was wondering why they didn't go to the other land.
Yeah. I know, the world building was good, but we just haven't got to see everything. And those are my positives, negatives, thoughts about Bleach and Naruto. And I'm Sasuke Dracon FD. Check me out on YouTube. And I'm out.